The second group, that's what she had them do is, yes, think about their goals, doing the daydreaming, the vision boards, the envisioning of all that they wanted in the future. But that second group also had to write those things down, pen and paper, proof of what they were thinking. By writing it down, we're making it real. The other thing that writing it down does is it actually starts to form new connections and synapses in our brain, because writing is a form of meditation and therapy, which helps us to then make decisions better. It helps us to manage and control our emotions better. And it also puts it in front of us on paper so that it's not whirling around in our heads anymore and creating anxiety. Because when we have it in our hands, it's out of our heads. So this is where you want to give yourself a quick gut check. Writing it down and telling yourself, how do I know that this has happened? How do I know that this is something that has manifested? Now, for me, and again, remember this was about, 10 years ago that I first wrote this down, is I wanted to have new windows that were facing the lakeside of my house because I wanted to be able to get up in the morning to see that. I wanted to be someone who got up early in the morning, and the only way that was going to happen is if the sun is shining directly in my eyes. So today, we actually just finished doing all of the siding and windows. We made much bigger windows and sliding doors on the side of the back of our house so that it is almost entirely glass. But this is something we've been wanting to do for a while. It wasn't until I started writing it down and putting it like milestones to it that it actually happened. Here's the other thing of writing it down, is that when you one day look around and realize that you've accomplished your goal and you go back and you see when you wrote it down, it's kind of like you feel like a superhero. Like, I made this happen. I've manifested this particular thing. Now, for me, I also wrote down another goal, and this is the goal that's actually going to be happening next fall, is getting a new roof and solar panels on. Because again, freedom, independence, self-sufficiency are all things that are important to me. And that manifests by me getting off the grid. And that's going to cost money. And it's going to take a timeline for me to accomplish that, but it's personally meaningful for me. And then finally, when I make that trip to Europe, that'll be the next thing that happens. So the thinking then becomes the writing, and the writing then becomes the metrics that we're going to measure our progress by. Now, for me, this meant I needed to get a certain number of additional revenue in to reach these goals outside and above and beyond my bills that I had to pay. There's a number that's assigned to that. That number is the number of months that I have given myself to reach these particular goals. And then there's a monthly payment for my goals. There's money that I need to put in the bank every month in order for these things to happen within a certain time frame. What that does by breaking it down into those smaller chunks, it makes it less overwhelming. The idea that I'm going to somehow come up with $10,000 to $15,000 out of thin air to get windows and siding on my house seemed overwhelming. I had no idea how that was going to happen. And all it did then was create anxiety because I didn't have a plan, a way of breaking it down. Writing it down helps you to break it down, which helps to make it more achievable and less overwhelming. Now, action commitments here for me are various things. There are a certain number of clients that I needed to be able to get in. There were certain things that I needed to accomplish to get the roof on. There were also other obstacles that I needed to accomplish for my husband and I to go to a trip to Europe. For example, him saving his time off so that by the time we wanted to go, we didn't have to scramble to figure out how he was going to get time off from work. So all of these are different things, or different obstacles, different commitments that I needed to make in order to achieve my goals. Now, as a side note, in the next module, we're going to be talking about the hidden strengths and weaknesses that you have using an evaluation. This is another step that you're going to take in writing down your commitments and actions in order to reach your goals. So this first pass at it is really identifying what are the obvious things that are in your way or actions that need to happen in order for you to get there. Once you've made the commitment, then you have to decide how is it or who is it that you're going to share this with.